Hey Jarvis, what's on my to-do list this week?
Your to-do list isn't really organized by week, it's organized by context, so here's the roundup. On the work side, you've got a few AI tooling ideas to explore plus ordering some drone parts. Errands-wise, it's just the prescription pickup and milk and shampoo.
Let's try another. Hey Jarvis, what do I care about related to no hype AI? See what we get back.
A few moments later.
With no hype AI, what you actually care about is quality over quantity. You cut the huge 100-video Instagram plan down to just the explainer visuals that were genuinely landing, and you even upgraded the AI worker building them because you could see the difference.
All right, thanks. In this video and in the subsequent videos, we're going to be talking about building out our second brain. Now, we're all trying to build these custom Jarvis-style agentic OSs, and something you no doubt have probably heard is that the way to supercharge these personal digital agents is by giving them a brain, which is effectively a really efficient organization of your personal knowledge. Now, the way to supercharge these and make these ultimately powerful and personalized, the reason why we're all building our own is because we all want it to care about the things that we care about. And the only way for our agents to care about what we care about is to tell them what we care about and save what we care about. And I can't just tell it everything I care about in one sitting and save it in a single document. It's constantly changing and evolving and growing, and that's why building out your second brain and then hooking it in to a Jarvis style operating system is what's going to supercharge your capabilities, your creativity, and give you the ability to just speak into your phone or into a pretty Jarvis dashboard like you've seen on Instagram and just say, like, what's the status of today? Like, what changed overnight? Like, what do I care about today? What's on my to-do list this week? Hey, I have an idea for a project. Can you get started on it? Like, those are the things that get us all excited, and the second brain is really the engine that drives a lot of that. So without further ado, let's dig into it. How do we build our second brain? And most importantly, how do we hook it up to a series of agents to get it to work? Well, that's what we're going to cover in this video, and it might not be as difficult as you may think. So I'm going to come out and give you the bottom line up front here. All a second brain is a series of folders, right? And you may already know this. Like all of this, which I've covered in other videos, my whole network operating system boils down to this, a simple file tree directory. So this is actually what's on my computer and actually what's enabling the demo that you just saw and actually enabling me to speak into my phone and say, I have an idea for a project where an agent automatically sends birthday cards to all of my friends. Do it, send. And it can actually take that idea and work it all the way to execution. This is all it is. So we'll break into it right now. The second brain, what it is a folder on my computer, on my C drive. And in my case, my documents folder is the root of all information. So my documents folder, it just has work, projects, personal, media, and vault. And that vault is the second brain. And in the second brain, it also just has a series of folders. Ideas, getting things done, to-do lists, references, people, potential projects, journal entries, etc. And that's the same thing that you saw over here, right? Same thing, getting things done, ideas, journal, people. And this, look at that, that is just my inbox pipeline, which I'll cover in a minute, right? One of my automations. So that's the basis of it. And everything connects through this. So how do we extract information from this vault? And the answer is simple. Nested folders is actually been proven to be one of the best, or at least the most efficient way for agents to navigate and find information. And this is how they do it. And this is the cool part. So if you've messed around with Claude Code, which I presume you have, or Codex or whatever, you're no doubt familiar with a AGENTS.md file or a CLAUDE.md file. And that is kind of the key that makes all of this work. In the root of my documents folder, and in the root of my vault, and in the root of every single folder in my entire computer is a CLAUDE.md file or an AGENTS.md file. And the way people usually use that is I'll have a project, which will be birthday card project. And it'll say, in this project, we're talking about this. The agents.md file will say, this is what we're working on, this is what we care about, this is where information is, this is how I want you to communicate with me, these are the tools I want you to use. But the way that I use it, the way that the second brain cares most about it, is a routing document. So in this folder, it's super lightweight. It just says, you're in the documents folder. Within this documents folder, if you care about work, it's in this folder. If you care about projects, it's in this folder. If you care about personal, it's in this folder. And within the projects folder, there's XYZ projects in there. So if you drop a Claude Code agent in this working directory, it already knows where everything is on your folder file structure. And that's really the heart of it. That's the root of how you find information or how an agent finds information. Here's the cool part though, which took me a little bit to realize. If I drop an agent in this folder, which is way down my tree, and in my projects folder, actually, you'll be way like 12 layers deep. Every level has a CLAUDE.md, and guess what? If you drop an agent in this folder, it doesn't only read the CLAUDE.md or AGENTS.md file that's in that folder. It also reads the one that's in the folder upstream of it, and upstream of that, and upstream of that. So if I'm in the SailView.md directory and I ask it for a question about a resource or a tool or something that's in the SailView folder in my projects directory, it can just go find that easily because it's already read upstream. As soon as you turn it on, spin it up, it reads everything. And therefore it knows, oh, I know where the SailView folder is. I'll just boop, pop over to it, grab that information, come back and use it where I need it. So that is the heart of what a second brain is. And we can go into more details on that at a later date. But the gist, it's a series of folders. Okay, so next question. How do we use it? How do we hook it up to our information? That's a great question. The purpose of it is for two things. You want a way to store information in it, and you want a way to extract information from it. That's the way I frame it, right? So let's talk about putting information into it. I have a little widget on my phone that I talk into, and all it is if you can see, it's just a blank template of an Obsidian note where I will just title it new project idea or birthday card project idea, and I will just type into it, hey, I have an idea for this project, can we work on it? Or I'll say, please add this to my to-do list, send, okay? And what that will do is it'll plop that piece of information inside of the inbox folder, which is, it's got a bunch of blank ones in there now. It'll plop it inside of the inbox folder of my second brain, which is just this folder, right? Then I will run an automation every hour to read that inbox folder and act on it. So it'll read that inbox folder and it'll decide, is this a to-do list item? Come on, is this a to-do list item? Is it an idea, a reference note, a project, or what is it? And then it will sort that information into the relevant folders. That's how you input information into the brain, okay? Simply put. There's more that goes into it, a little bit more that goes into it. But now let's talk about how do you extract information from it. So what you just saw in the demo where I talked to my phone, the way it extracts information is real simply, it just plops into the root of my documents folder and I say, go find this information, and it finds it, grabs it, and then sends it back to me. Really simple. That's the second way. So now we've got input information and extract information, but here's the tricky part, okay? How do we clean up the system, okay? How I'm constantly just stream of conscious dumping garbage into my capture pipeline, into my ideas inbox. And agents are constantly just grabbing and filtering it. Surely it's going to get bloated. There's going to be junk. There's going to be errors and hallucinations. So the key is I have a series of automations that run through and clean it up. they'll run through, do lint reports. It'll say, hey, there's a duplicate of this, or this is 3 months out of date. I'm going to move it to your deep storage, off disk, my network storage device, things like that. I'll have a lint automation run through, put together a report of recommended changes. I'll have a librarian agent come through, make those recommended changes. Or it'll read through old documents. All of my folders and files are backed up to Google or backed up to Git or GitHub. So it can go check the GitHub and just read through my pull requests and have dated timestamps of everything that's changed, and then update my documentation in my second brain. And that brings me to the structure of the second brain. And this is the coolest part. So I just talked about revision control and knowledge of the history of what has changed over time. Because we're evolving, it knows what I cared about last month is different than now, and it can tell me how the things I care about have changed over time. When I initially set it up, I set it up the way I wanted to use it. I wanted to capture ideas, I wanted to capture to-do lists, I wanted to capture potential projects. But then 2 groundbreaking schemas arose. One is Andre Karpathy's LLM Wiki, and the other is Gary Tan's GBrain. So I'll go into what these are, but what I did is I studied what they did, and I extracted the useful components of what they have and put it into my system. So both of them put out GitHubs, Git repos that you could just pull down. But what I did is I had my agent go read it, compare it to the one that I currently have, say, how does their second brain schema fit into mine, and then worked out a plan to fuse it into the way that I have it set up now. So LLM Wiki, if you don't know what it is, it's really similar to a Wikipedia page. If you think of it like a Wikipedia page, you look up a company, you read about it, and then there's hyperlinks. So you see the CEO of the company is listed in there. You can click on their name and it'll go to their Wikipedia page. This is the exact same thing. If you look in my second brain, you'll see that I have a wiki, and in my wiki I have all of the facets of my life. And you can go into that and see people's names that link to their wiki pages. And they're all connected. That's LLM Wiki. The other thing is Gary Tan's GBrain. And the gist of that is timestamps. It keeps a rolling record of how things change over time. And at the bottom of all of your wiki pages, there's a date that says, this changed at this date, basically revision control. So you know how your relationship with a person or an idea evolves over time. And that gives a lot more resolution to any agent that's querying your second brain. So I'll give you another example of that in my second brain, inside of my wiki. If you look at the inbox pipeline, which is kind of explains the thing that I'm talking about, it'll say, look, at this timestamp we did this, at this timestamp we did this, blah, 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 blah. And every single time my librarian loops through this thing, it'll append a new line, and this will grow, and I can have months of or years of historical record still accessible, but also in a lightweight way, which the agent doesn't have to read a long document. It can just read the top part. But if it really cares about your history of this thing, it can go to the bottom and read the full document. So that's what's really exciting. And that's it. So this is the general structure of it. My ideas, the things I care about, plus a combination of LLM Wiki and GBrain. I have a series of automations, and in the subsequent videos, I will go into details about how I actually do these lint reports and librarian sweeps through the process. And the main takeaway is this brain is really simply a file structure. So I hope that was interesting. I hope you learned something. And I'm going to go a lot more into detail on how to set up this brain and how to connect it to your systems, how to set up automations that run through it, how to input stuff into it and query stuff out of it. So if that's what you're interested in, stay tuned for the subsequent videos. And if there's any part of this you want me to particularly dig deeper into, leave a comment and let me know. So other than that, thanks for sticking in, and I'll see you in the next video.